Hey, how are you? My name is Kim, and I like to cook. I'm not the best cook, I'm not a chef, but I love to cook for people. I enjoy it. And I love plaid. I have a good friend that made me two of these. I did the monogramming, and I love to wear black. I try not to, right? But I end up in black, navy, gray. I try to use color too. I like red. I love Jesus. Don't know what I'd do without him. Um, anyway, so I posted a couple of things online, maybe things that I've cooked, just pictures, and a few people said, hey, you should do a video. And I was like, hey, no way. But then today I was already going to make spaghetti meatballs, so I thought, why not? So today I'm going to make a family recipe. My mom made it all our life. And I believe she got the recipe from my Aunt Nana, Tamaro, the Italian side. I'm also going to do some great garlic bread. I buy bread at the grocery store, HEB, and I just have them slice it. They slice it for free. It's just way easier. You get more slices per loaf. So anyway, gonna do this actually in a pan, but you could use your crock pot. But I do suggest you go ahead and saute all your vegetables in a skillet and then pour it into the crock pot and then pour in your tomato sauce, whole tomatoes, tomato paste, seasoning, and then drop in your meatballs. Cook it 4 hours at least, maybe 6 on low. Because I know a lot of you, you're working from home, you have kids, your husband's at home. Life is different, and maybe you don't want to stand in the kitchen and cook. I use my crock pot once in a while, and I have an Instapot that I use to make Spanish rice, and a few other things, but I personally barely use it. But I know a lot of people depend on it, and they're a great asset to have. I might do a little footnote for the crock pot. I've done it before in the crock pot because I had to learn how to use a glass top stove because things scorch, or they scorched for me. So if you have a glass top, just start out slow and then make sure you stir it. You know, there's an adaptation for everything that we do, whether it's what we're cooking on, what we're cooking with, but you can always adapt. So this is a great recipe that our family has, like I said, made throughout the years. Hey, let me just tell you about regular spaghetti. You don't have to buy the jar, right? Just ground your beef, add some tomato sauce that in a can that you get at the store, and seasoning, and I promise you, you're gonna love it. Simple, cheap, and simple. Because when you buy the jar, it already has sugar in it. They add preservatives. So try next time to just use tomato sauce. The flavors just kind of all come together. I have a blog. I haven't contributed to my blog in probably 5 years, but I have quite a bit of recipes on there. I don't make money. I have no ads on there. I use it personally as a resource to basically use when I'm at the grocery store and see what do I need to get. So if I'm going to post in the comments the recipe because it's already on my blog. There's step-by-step even instructions and still photos. So check that out for the recipe. But again, I'm not telling you that because I want to make money or any of that kind of stuff, because it's just there. And again, I haven't contributed to it for about 5 years. So it's just too much work, right? It takes too much work to do all that, and I just didn't have the time, so I kind of stopped. But anyway, if you like this, maybe later I might do like different things. I was thinking of Chewy's jalapeno ranch dip. I don't even like ranch, but I love that dip. Hot sauce, you know, maybe a chocolate pie for a couple of friends out there. They've been asking about it. Just, you know, random stuff. And maybe a meal or two. I am grilling chicken on Tuesday. Already decided that. I have a really great marinade that I make. I only make my own dressings, not because I only make them, because I don't really like the bottle dressings, and these are quick and easy to make. Take 5 minutes, literally, to throw it together. Like ranch, literally takes 5 minutes. It's Hellmann's. I do use Hellmann's mayonnaise. I only use Hellmann's milk and some ranch. Dry ranch, and I buy the dry ranch at Sam's. It'll last you 6 months to a year. So there's just little things like that. Maybe if you're interested, maybe we'll do a little here and there. But I also challenge you to do a video, because man, my blog is called It's All About a Good Recipe. And the reason is, when I go somewhere and I taste something good, I want that recipe. So that's really how my blog started and how the name came from, because it really, truly is about a good recipe. So anyway, I've never done this, like I said. I'm sure my camera is going to go wacko here and there. I may drop it. I don't know. But anyway, so we'll see how this all turns out. Oh, I want to tell you this. I use mason jars quite a bit. I buy the large ones and the small ones. It's easier to fit in your refrigerator. It's easier to give as a gift. Doesn't take as much space. And if you buy 12, I think they're like $10 to $12. That's less than $1 a jar. And I don't know. It's just something I love. So I'm going to be storing quite a bit of this in mason jars. And then I also buy the to-go containers, like at Sam's in a big bulk, which are just as great. But anyway, I just want to suggest the mason jars just because they come in really handy. So, all right, you ready to cook? All right, so I have my chopped green pepper and onion in here, fogging up my phone. And I'm going to add the garlic after this kind of sautés a little bit, because we don't want our garlic to burn. Quick and simple. Here's the garlic. I'm going to wait a minute. After this, I'm going to pour in the tomato sauce. I'm going to pour in the tomato paste and the whole tomatoes. Now, on the whole tomatoes, I like to put them in whole and then cut them up. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to cut them up, because I've often, at times, I've forgotten. But someone bites into a tomato thinking it's a meatball. So, anyway, all right. So, on the bottom of my pan, I feel like I should say something. It's not burned. It's just kind of seasoned, right? So, it's just where the enamel maybe has worn off a little bit. Alright, so now, I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. Ooh, it looks so beautiful. I'm going to add my garlic. I don't know how to post pause on this. Alright, so I'm going to let that cook, and then I'm going to add my tomatoes, and I'll be back. So, I have in the pot, I sauteed the onion, the green pepper, and the garlic. I added the tomato sauce, whole tomatoes, and tomato paste, because the tomato paste is going to help it not be so runny, even though, you know, you want some sauce to be a little runny, but it's not. It's going to help it thicken up. I have some basil, oregano, and some Lawry's garlic salt. And I may add, I don't know where it went. Let's see. Oh, sorry.
I may add some of this. Oh, let's see. So it's just an Italian herb seasoning. It grinds it fresh. So I'm going to add that. All right, so I'm going to let this cook for as I prepare my meatballs. And what's going to happen is the sauce is going to get hot enough so that when I drop my meatballs in, it kind of starts cooking them and coats the outside. Because the secret to some of this is once you drop your meatballs in, you want to leave it for a minute because you don't want to start stirring it and they fall apart. So you want to kind of have a coating on the outside. So we're going to do that. Now I want to say, if you're cooking on a gas stove, you're lucky. No, I'm kidding. No, really serious. If you're cooking on a gas stove, you kind of want to just, once this all gets done, keep it on a medium heat. You could even put it between medium and low and let it just cook. If you're cooking on a regular eye, which is what I have, I'm still going to cook it on between probably about 5 or 6. If you're using a glass top, those are a little tricky sometimes because things scorch, right? So you want to do a lower speed, a lower temperature. So I would maybe start out at like 6 or 7 max, and then maybe turn it down to 3 or 4 because you don't want the bottom to scorch, right? Because then all your hard work is ruined. I had a glass top once, and it took me forever to try to learn to cook on it. I've kind of got the rhythm down, learning that I just have to do things slow so they don't scorch. And your pan's super important. This is, like I said, this is a Le Creuset pan. I just would use something that's thick, as it has some depth to it. Nothing that's super thin or cheap. I hate to say that, but it's true. So anyway, so just kind of watch it. And if you have a glass top, you might stir it a little more just so that the bottom doesn't scorch. But watch those meatballs before they get kind of where they're at a place where you can stir it so they don't fall apart. Okay, here's the meatballs. So I have in here ground beef, 2 eggs, some crackers that I crumbled, and some Parmesan cheese. So I'm just going to, with my fingers, my hands, mix this all together and start forming some meatballs. So the egg and the crackers is what is going to keep these together. I feel like I'm missing something in this, but I don't know. My recipe is on my iPad behind me. Honestly, these days, for years, I don't even look at the recipe. I just do it. But I'm going to go with just this. So, I'm going to take a meatball, about this size, dropping it in the sauce that's bubbling over here. Now, I recently thought, sometimes you go to a restaurant and they just have 2 big ones per person. So I was thinking, I always make all these little ones. I wonder, should I start doing these big ones? But for today, I'm just going to do with what I normally do. So if you look here, I'm going to get my phone all gross. I'm going to drop it in this bubbly hot liquid. So I've had these in here at least 15 to 20 minutes. The pot is bubbling. I have it between 4 and 5 on my stove. I'm going to lift the lid. Look at that. So I'm about to go ahead and start stirring this around a little bit because they should already have a coating. You can kind of tell as you put your spoon in and move things around how delicate they are. But I just wanted you to see. I'm going to cook this. It's 324 right now. I'm going to cook it for sure until about 4:15, 4:30. And then it's ready. You can leave it on your stove for an hour, 2 hours, whatever you want to do. Okay, in my pan, I have butter and a little bit of garlic salt. You don't want to add too much garlic salt or people won't be able to eat it because it'll be just overloaded in garlic. So you want that sizzle. Do you hear it? You don't want to put your bread in until you get that sizzle because then it's just going to soak your bread up with butter. But you want butter. Just be careful. Alright, so I'm going to move these around. Make sure they're coated. It's kind of hard to see through that. Now, I'm going to cook a few of these, and then I'm going to put the rest just in a back in the baggie and put it in the refrigerator. And then I'm not going to toast those till I'm ready to eat them. And I tell people when I take them food, they can toast it front and back.
Can you hear that sizzling? They're so delicious. So I'm about to take these out. Let me see if I can do this with this. Let's see. So I'm looking at them. Most of them are done. A couple of them might need a few more seconds. Let's see. This is what you want. Right here. Maybe a little bit. This one, yeah. Anyway, you want this. You hear that? Oh, they're so good. Okay. So I'm going to take the 4 middle ones out. And then I'm going to put the 2 on each side back in. Just to brown them up a little. So, I have green beans in here. I first started out with some butter, a little bit of the Lawry's garlic salt with the green lid, and some black pepper. And I drained the green beans because there's enough liquid in each green bean that it's going to become liquidy anyway. So I like to drain it. You do what you do. But anyway, so I have these on low, and I'm going to let them cook for at least 15 minutes. I have some water boiling for my noodles. I want to tell you a little bit about my pots and pans. I have a lot of pots and pans, but I bought these about 2 or 3 years ago at Sam's. I think I even got it on Black Friday. So these are Viking. They're brass. I absolutely love brass. Comes with a set. I have another skillet, another pot like this that's a little bit shorter. They all have lids. It's like my favoriteest find ever. I think originally they're $300. I got them on Black Friday for maybe $250. But I would have paid $300 because one pan like this, now it's probably a different grade of copper at Williams Simona or Sur La Table, is like $500. I'm not joking. My water is boiling. You want your water to boil. I'm going to dump in my spaghetti. My green beans are sizzling. See, there's still water at the bottom even though I drained it. And the bread is looking delicious. It's ready. So, again, on the bread, only bake at what you want at a time. Because this bread gets stale the next day. You know, you want to eat a piece of toast from yesterday. So, just cook as you want. Because I'm just going to, after I finish sauteing all the bread on both sides, I'm going to put it back in the sack, put it in the refrigerator, and then pull one out every time. Now, if your bread sticks because they got cold, all you got to do is pop it in the microwave for a second, and then you'll be able to pull them out one by one. Hey, I had to leave yesterday. I finished the toast, and then I was trying to get food to somebody, and anyway, I didn't come back. So I just wanted to say, hey, if you actually watched the video, thanks. And I want to challenge somebody else out there to make a video. I know there's a lot of great cooks with a lot of great recipes out there. So if you're out there and you want to, hey, post it. We'll all watch it because we ain't doing anything else, right? And I kind of want to challenge somebody. Chad Loney. Chad's a chef, like a real chef. And I've known Chad since like 7th grade. And I introduced his wife Wendy to him. And so I used to have cooking classes for adults. And one time he came and we all just sat there and watched him. And then watched him make, I think it was a Von Block sauce. I don't even like that kind of stuff, but it was delicious. And with the Ron McDonald House, he comes quite a bit, he and Wendy. And, you know, he's it, right? He knows what he's doing. So I really challenge him and Wendy, because she's an awesome cook too, to do a video. speaking of Wendy, so at church, I begged her to do a life group for sewing because I got a monogramming sewing machine last year in about July. Got the monogramming side down, but I don't know how to sew. I did know how to sew, so I made this apron. I kind of really love lemons, French country. I like traditional French country. And I made this apron, which I kind of love. I don't just kind of love, I love it. I made a pillow with this fabric also. I'm looking at my dining room table. I don't have my thing that goes down the middle. I'm all of a sudden blank, the runner on there yet, but I have a tablecloth that I got in France. When I went to France, I kind of bought everything as a souvenir or something that I would use for years. So I bought a beautiful tablecloth. It's toile. It's cream. Well, it's mainly burgundy and then cream. I bought some coffee cups and I broke one, but I still have one that I use quite a bit. I bought some materials for some curtains, and a friend of mine, Anna's mom, made me some curtains. Actually, the Roman shades, toile. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up. I love blue willow plates. They're hanging up there on my wall. But I wanted to say one more thing is, because I wanted to say yesterday about butter. So don't buy margarine. Just don't buy margarine. You know, it's full of chemicals. It kind of sticks to your body is what I've always heard inside. That's my excuse probably for using real butter. But I use unsalted butter. Years ago, Martha Stewart had a show, and in the show she talked about unsalted butter versus salt. When you use unsalted butter, you control the salt. So I had to buy salted butter through this coronavirus because they didn't have the unsalted. And I had a piece of toast with, it's white, apricot white chocolate bread from Eatsy's. They slice it for you. Go buy it. It's delicious. I noticed the salt right away because that's what I use was salt. So I just want to kind of emphasize, I always have probably 4 pounds of butter always in my refrigerator, but I've had to skip over it recently because of the salted butter, because I still have at least 2 pounds in there, but I'll be looking for the unsalted. So I just want to challenge somebody else out there along with Chad. I know you got great recipes, so I challenge you to post a video so that we all can make something that you made. So anyway, I hope you guys all have a really great day. It's about to be evening. It's 7:30. So anyway, take care. Hey, if you haven't been watching The Chosen, it's incredible. I'm only on episode 5, I think, but they're an hour long. But it's a pretty great show. So I just want to challenge you to watch that also. Talk to you later. Hopefully, maybe. Who knows? Bye.